Hello, hello! Welcome back to Brenda's Books. Thank you so much for coming back to listen to more of Sara's War. If you would like to follow Brenda's Books online, I am on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Today I'll be narrating for you Chapter 6 of the future love story Sara's War. Here we go. Chapter 6, Fights and Fantasies. I will never go back in there again. This is the very promise I made to myself this morning after leaving the mess hall. And here I am again, sitting at the same grimy table. I glance around at the noisy scene. Soldiers are bantering and laughing. Other officers are chatting and chuckling with the cooks. Have these people forgotten we're at war? What in the world could they be laughing at? Then I remember Lexi making me laugh this morning at our first encounter. I wish she were here with me now. I could use a good hearty laugh. Wow, what a day it's been. Oh well, I'm not entirely void of good company. I do have some medical journals with me. I found them in relief while searching for an article on strokes and arteries. I found 3 journals full of them. How intriguing it is that a tiny tool can remove a lump of plaque and save someone's life. I can't wait until Dr. Roberts gets here so I can actually see the process. Good reading, says a voice next to me. I don't recognize this voice. For one split second my heart lurches as Mr. Evil comes to mind, but thankfully it isn't him. I guess today will be one of those days when my adrenaline just won't stop, and it hurts my insides. Can I sit with you? Asks the pleasant voice. Of course, I say, looking up at him. Oh, I'd recognize this guy anywhere. He has fiery red hair and a friendly countenance. He's one of my nurses. He peers at me with soft hazel eyes. Tell me your name again? I'm sorry I don't remember. I didn't expect you to, he says as he sits down next to me. I'm Nurse Reynolds, but you can call me Randy. He places a hand on his chest. Unless you're uncomfortable with that, of course. You seem like the rule-keeping type. I wave a hand at him. I like first names. I'm Sara. Randy smiles and takes a deep breath. Nice work today, Doc. You were pretty impressive with the way you made us all get down on our hands and knees and scrub the floors. I shrug. It's not my fault there was no mop around. Oh, sure. I bet you were hiding it just so all of the nurses would have to get dirty. I shrug again. Of course I was. Randy grins. And where did you find all those tools you made us clean for hours on end? The lost and found? There's no way we had all of those in relief. I can't help but smile. Lost and found? As if that could ever exist again. Besides, you all weren't doing anything anyway. Somebody had to get you off your duffs. Randy's eyes widen. Really? You don't think our janitorial duties keep us running? My eyes widened with his. Are you referring to what I had you do today? That's hardly janitorial work. I know, Randy says. I do real janitorial work all the time. I think they have janitors for that, I note. Randy shakes his head. Nope, not anymore. The poor army ran out of money. Or the government, I guess. Now they make the nurses do the work. He's actually serious. What if the nurses are needed in relief, I wonder? Randy shrugs. Then the cleaning doesn't get done. I sniff. No wonder this place is such a pigsty, I mutter, mostly to myself. Randy sniffs too. We do our best, you know. Oh, I didn't mean that, I say in a rush. Randy's lips curl up. It's okay. He turns to span the mess hall, folding his arms on the table and leaning forward. It is a real problem. We have much bigger problems than that, I point out. Randy nods once. That's why nothing gets done about it. I frown. Well, I'm sorry I gave you more cleaning to do, but relief is a mess. Good gracious, I hardly found anything that was sterile. Randy puts a fist up to his mouth and coughs. Or laughs. What? It's true. Oh, I know, you're right. It's been a long time since I've heard someone say good gracious. Where are you from? Omaha, I reply. Nebraska? The one and only. Were you drafted? Randy asks. I clench my teeth. Yes? Randy holds up a hand. Sorry, I won't go there. Where were you before you came to Big Rock? Tallahassee.
In country. Is this the first base you've worked at? He wonders. I sigh. What's with all the personal questions? Yes? I'm not trying to offend you, Sara. I know, you're not. So, what are you doing after dinner? I have to speak with General Granger, I say glumly. Just the thought of it makes me want to moan and groan. What does the general want to talk to you about? He doesn't know yet. I'm going to him. Randy stares at me without blinking. I raise my eyebrows in return. He swallows before he speaks. That's kind of hard to do. The general doesn't usually speak to anyone unless he asks for them. You know, he tries to be the title, he says in a mock tone. Well, he has to talk to me. I need to tell him something. Randy purses his lips. This may not be my place to say, Sara, but I really don't think you should try. I scrutinize his expression, making sure he isn't joking. Why not? Randy shrugs. It just won't work. He won't see you. I tilt my head back toward the ceiling. I can't believe I'm hearing this from my nurse. I have to do it, I persist. Why? Most things you can work out without a brigadier general. I can't help but glower at him. There's nothing to work out. I just need to tell him something. Randy shakes his head vigorously. He won't see you. He just won't. How do you know? How discouraging he is. I don't like the way our conversation is going now. Randy sighs. Don't you know basic army expectations? My blood simmers. I speak slowly, marking my words with precision. No, I say, keeping my voice low. Nobody has ever explained anything to me. I was just thrown into a blistering hot wilderness full of nearly dead bodies and asked to fix them. And then I come here and everyone wants me to know the expectations, I quote with my fingers. You have probably been in the army longer than me, Nurse Reynolds, but I have actually been in the war. Randy's jaw tightens and his face turns beet red. Well, you should be grateful for those expectations, Private Andrews, because they are the only reason I'm not saying certain things to you right now. Randy abruptly stands up, his chair screeching across the chestnut floor, and stiffly walks away. I stare at the headline of my article lying on the table, not seeing the words. Why has every aspect of today turned out to be such a disaster? I gaze out my bedroom window. What a beautiful night. A full moon is out, hanging deep in the sky with a bright, brilliant light that shines down on the tree below me, tinting its leaves with yellow. I marvel at how amazing it is that such a magnificent world could be contaminated with such an ugly war. Feeling homesick? Lexi asks from her bed. She's lying down with her arms behind her head. Something like that, I murmur into the glass. How was your first day at Big Rock? She asks. It was a day in the army. Lexi laughs once. I think I know what you mean. I'm glad you decided against seeing General Granger. Believe me, it's for the best. I keep my eyes on the moon and nod. Well, I'm going to sleep. Good night, Sara. Good night, Lexi. I pause and turn to face her. Hey, do you mind if I stay up and read? I have a headlamp I can use. Lexi leans up on her elbow. You mean you actually wear it on your head? I grin. Yeah, let it be our little secret. Lexi smiles too. I can tell she's trying not to laugh as she lies back down. Well, at least you won't be a boring roommate, she mumbles as she lets out a huge yawn. You say I'm not boring and yet you're yawning. I chuckle as I make my way to my own bed. Lexi smiles. What are you reading anyway? Medical journals, I reply. Lexi is drowsy now. Sounds fascinating. Yep, sure is, I exclaim as I climb into bed with a journal in hand. Hey, why is your bathrobe in the garbage? Lexi mumbles. I moan and rub my head. Don't ask. Fine, but only because I'm too tired right now. I'll get it out of you tomorrow. Lexi then rolls onto her side, snuggles up with her pillow, and closes her eyes. Probably not, I mutter under my breath. Oh yes, I will, Lexi says through another yawn. I have barely read 2 paragraphs of how to make endarterectomy a success when I hear Lexi's heavy breathing. Wow, already asleep. I don't know how long I continue reading, maybe 2 or 2.5 hours. I know I should sleep, but I can't stop. I finish all 3 medical journals from cover to cover. I'm grateful they are fairly short, considering how dense the content is. All this reading reminds me of when I was in medical school and read all day and sometimes all night until my eyes burned and everything around me blurred together. I recall my piercing disappointment when I was a semester away from getting my MD, and then I was drafted into the Army. I remember how I cursed the war and the world and all that was in it. But then my Ryan died, and awful memories. I stuffed my pillow over my head as if that would block everything out. Dreadful memories. Memories I can't forgive myself for. With aching effort, I compel myself to bury my thoughts. But unfortunately, I can still feel them, stinging and swelling inside me. I grabbed my notebook where I had been taking notes from my reading and turned to a blank page to begin a journal entry. I don't remember the last time I wrote in a journal or a diary, but I can't just sit here and do nothing and allow all those memories to come back. August 18th. Dear Journal, I want to be a doctor. I'm a semester away from being qualified to start a practice of my own. But World War III has pretty much halted everyone's dreams, as even women are being drafted into the Army, including me. But if I'm being truly honest with myself, I know that even if I hadn't been drafted, the University of Chicago would have shut down anyway, due to a lack of funds. The administration and even all my professors feigned all was well after the war began and cracked down even harder on their students. But we all knew that if we didn't graduate that spring, we might not have another chance, which was the case with me. Moreover, it doesn't really matter that I was drafted, because those whom I loved most had been stripped from me anyway. In fact, I'm grateful to the Army, because all those dead bodies I was forced to be with in country were the only things that could bury the most excruciating, insufferable memories for me. And even that didn't work completely. Maybe that's one reason God sent me to Tallahassee. Looking on the bright side, however, I do have something to comfort me every night when memories try to taunt me and squeeze their way to the surface. It's Ryan, of course. Ryan comforts me at night. Obviously, he isn't really with me, but I imagine he is, and I tell him about my day, and imagine what he would say to me. It always makes me feel better. I put my pen aside and lie down on my bed, imagining my late husband sitting at my feet. "How are you, honey?" Ryan would say. "Well, I found a naked man in my room today." "No kidding! That doesn't sound very smart of him. I hope you exposed him to the world." "I tried. It didn't quite work, though." "I'll do it for you. Don't worry about it. He got caught. But then I was late to my meeting, and now the general thinks I'm unreliable." "Of course he does. He doesn't know your story. But give him time. He'll see your true colors. And, sweetheart, your colors are clear." Then Ryan would smile sweetly. "And I went over Colonel Haskins' head today by calling for a doctor." "That's my girl, taking charge." "No, Ryan, that's not a good thing. I don't want to be disrespectful." "Oh, you're not. You didn't know, right? Give yourself a break, Sara." "And I made Randy mad at dinner." Ryan would shrug. "Oh well, he's probably a doofus anyway." This would make me smile. "And Petty Officer First Class Harrison needs surgery, and the doctor hasn't told me when he's coming to do it." "If he needs it that bad, why don't you do the surgery?" "I don't know how to perform surgery on an artery." Yes you do. It's the same as an eye. You've done that before." No, they are not the same, Ryan. So make a choice. Wait for the doctor or do it yourself. You make it sound so easy." Ryan would shrug again. "It is." "Now just kiss me." I smile at the ceiling. Now these are the memories I like to think about. And that concludes Chapter 6. I hope you liked it. I hope you come back next Thursday for Chapter 7, which is called Emergency. And don't worry, Colonel Haskins comes back in this one.
If you want to find out more about Brenda's books, you can visit brendasbooks.net. Until next time, take care.